All right, guys, welcome back to another awesome testimonial video with one of my favorite students. I wouldn't even call him a student, more so just someone I've had the pleasure of being able to work with side by side, helping him grow, helping him learn all the things that he needed in order to come out of his situation and get the guidance that he needed to go and really do this in a different way than how he was doing it before. You're going to be hearing from my student James today, and James is a really, really unique story and person that I've, again, like I said, had the pleasure of being able to work with. He is such a hard worker. He's got a killer work ethic. He's a vet. He just graduated with his master's degree. Yeah, he has really just shown me and everyone else in the side of our community that, if no matter where you're at, what you got going on, what time commitments you have, like if you can come in and learn all this information, learn all these new systems, and go out and put in the work to implement them, you can see some really good stuff happen. So we're going to talk about James, the deals that he closed. He closed a 6-month deal that equated to $9,000 in revenue for him. We're going to go over about what his situation looked like before working with me in a one-on-one kind of capacity. And yeah, you guys have seen my other testimonials with guys from my 6-day sprint. Unfortunately, we do not run the 6-day sprint anymore. I really only have time these days to be doing really high-level one-on-one consulting. And this is one of these, again, testimonials and examples of guys who came in, worked with me in a one-on-one capacity, and just went out and absolutely crushed it in less than 60 days still. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions for me about my coaching, our community, there's some links in the description. And yeah, drop a comment on this video. And if you need anything, hit me up on Instagram. That's also going to be in the description of this video. And yeah, let's just get right into it. First thing I want to ask is that first call that we did together. I don't know if you remember, like right out the Instagram DMs.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me about like where you were at that point when we first had our first conversation. Like where was the business at? Where was your head at? And like what were the problems at that time that you were looking to get, help with solving essentially?
Yeah, I think like for me at that point in time, I kind of was finishing up my master's degree and I had been doing client work here and there. But I just knew that I needed something more consistent to like really just have like solidified income coming in monthly and not just like, well, hopefully I get this job, hopefully I'll find a new client, hopefully, I can find someone who needs content. And so I just wanted to build something consistent, but like I didn't really like I knew I wanted to have like I knew I wanted to do it and make it official, but I just didn't know like what the process looked like. So, I was like going back and forth with, do I focus on my personal brand and try to get clients that way, or do I do outreach, or what does outreach look like? What do I say? How do I set my prices? How do I even pitch the like what do I even pitch? So, I knew how to use the camera and I knew how to edit, but I just didn't know like the business side of everything and like how to like run it like smooth, So that was like my biggest challenge and my biggest hurdle. So,
Yeah.
I reached out and tried to get coaching because I knew that if I could find someone who had already gone through it, then maybe they could help me like with the pain points I was going to be running into.
Yeah, for sure. And just for anyone who's watching who doesn't know you, tell us a little bit about like yourself, your background, um, you know, kind of where you're at in life and how I guess this has helped you kind of give you direction, obviously, moving forward.
Yeah, so I'm a veteran. I was getting paid to go to school. And when I got out of the military, like I went to barber college and got my barber's license. But when COVID hit, I was kind of like forced to figure something out because here in California, we were shut down for like over a year. And so I was in film school at the time. And I just was like, I guess I'll just keep going to film school. And so this was back in 2020. And so I just kept going to film school because I was getting that paycheck. But then, like, as the years went on, I got the bachelor's degree and then I got a master's degree. I was like, well, I'm about to graduate, so that monthly stipend from the VA is going to end, and now it's time to take these skills and turn it into something that can actually like bring in some money. And so that was like kind of the main motivating factor for me was to like be able to take what I was doing as a hobby and turn it into income. And so it was a tough 6 months because I was dealing with like finals with school and also try to like learning how to like set up a business. But ultimately, I'm kind of glad I did it when I did, because now school's over and I've got like clients already in line. I'm already working consistently, and so that money is coming in, and it's not where I 100% where I want it to be, but I'm getting to a place now where I'm looking to like hire an editor so I can continue to grow it and scale it. So yeah,
100%.
yeah, it's good.
And how much new contract value have you locked in since we started? Kind of run through that.
Yeah, so I had one client that I was working with consistently, and it was like a weekly thing, and so that's been good. That was like nice consistent income. But in the last, like, I guess, like, what, a month and a half, 2 months, I've been able to lock in two retainers where they're paying me up front. One's paying me 1,500 every month, and then the other one's paying me 1,000 every month. And like the deliverables aren't even really that crazy, so it's just like nice to just get that $2,500 consistently, knowing that it's coming in every single month over the course of 6 months. And then after that 6 months, it's like renegotiate. But it's not only that; it's just like the other opportunities that come from it, because now people are seeing the content I'm doing for them, and they're reaching out to them, and so it's like kind of like a snowball effect. And yeah, like it's nice because it's like every opportunity, every new contract, every new client, like I'm learning something new. And like it's been great to be able to like pick off Ben's brain, because it's like a process every single time to figure it out. And like even though the system's somewhat automated, like every client's needs are different, so it's like still that like learning process and trying to figure that out. But yeah, total, man, I think like just from like the contracts, like the way I've been able to like construct the contracts through what I've learned here is like that 2,500 a month that I'm getting from them is great. And then that's just the base, that's not including any add-ons that we talk about throughout the month with those guys. So yeah, man, I've just been able to grow it and been able to have something dependable, so it's not like, dang, hope what's this month gonna look like.
Yeah. No, 100%. And how quickly, like, from the first time we did our first call, up until the point where you like, oh shoot, like I just got my first win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely within that. We did the 60-day sprint, and it was definitely within that 2 month window. Um, I didn't get fresh. I wasn't getting frustrated because I was getting like the cold outreach I was doing was working. But the problem was I didn't really understand. Like I still needed to learn the systems and like go through that. So as I was learning and understanding that, it was all happening pretty quickly on top of school. I feel like if I wasn't in school, I would have been able to get it even sooner, because I was just like kind of stretched a little thin.
Yeah. But school didn't hold you back.
No, no. I mean, actually, I put school on the back burner. It was one of those things where I was like, "Oh man, I got 2 weeks before I graduate. Let me like lock in on this." But it was cool because I'd already had all the clients locked in, and they knew like the way I set it up was like, okay, I'm gonna lock these guys in on contracts, and then we're gonna start in May because that's when I graduate. So I'll just front load May with school to get caught up and graduate, and then as soon as I graduate, I'll be able to like fully lock in on these contracts that are already in place. So that's why I was like the timing was perfect for me. But honestly, like I wish I would have done it a little bit sooner. But either way, like it all worked out at the end, and now like I can hit the ground running this summer without school, like already knowing and having the systems in place, like ready to go. So yeah,
Yeah.
it all happened
And
quick.
yeah, for sure. And which one of those clients was the one that's doing the 1,500 per month for 6 months?
It's like a credit repair. It's called Credit Harmony.
And what are you delivering for them?
So we have 2 shoot days. I'm actually going to a shoot today. We have 2 shoot days a month, and then 12 reels, 12 30-second reels, um, which is not crazy. The shoot days are like 2 to 3 hours, and then we're getting 6 reels every shoot day. But that's just the base package. So I gave him three options. That was like the base one, and then the next one, I think the largest package is like basically double that, and he gets 30 reels a month. So it's like 4 shoot days, basically shooting with him 1 day a week. And so this first contract, he just wanted to just see what it was like, and it was good for me too, because then I can really like hone in on like what are can I actually like execute these deliverables as a one man band. And then once I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty easy. Like, you know what I mean? Now whenever I lock them in on that the high end package, I can actually outsource the editing, and I already have the templates in place. So I can, the editing is not the hard part. I could just shoot everything I need and be like, hey, here's what we need to edit. And then it just makes it easier for me. You know, it's just super scalable.
Yeah. No, 100%. And would you say that when we were getting on these calls throughout the last 8 weeks and, actually getting into the nitty gritty part of the actual coaching aspect of it, would you say that it was pretty tailored to you specifically?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. I mean, I remember just like every client that I would have, like understanding what their budget was and what the deliverables they needed. I was able to like put a package together based off like what we talked about. And then like before I would even like present it to the client, we would sit down and be like, yeah, this makes sense, or hey, maybe you should change this if you think that this is not really going to be worth your time because you're traveling this far to do this job. And so it was always like it was always tailored to like what my scenario was based off that specific client. So it was like nothing was really ever cookie cutter. The concepts were similar across all the clients, but like the tangible things like would shift from here to there, because it was like every client's pain point looks different, every client's budget looks different, every client's, you know whatever looks different. So like it was nice to be able to just say like, to know I could like shoot the information over to you based off like the discovery call, and what you would just like look at that and look at the proposal and be like, yeah, this makes sense. Or
Yeah, that
you would
whole
help me.
process.
Yeah, you would help me just like find like run a fine tooth comb through it before the client ever even sees it. So it made me feel more comfortable like presenting it, because like I it was like felt like it was already verified. So
And so some people who might be watching this video, couple different things. They might be sitting here thinking like, oh, I can, figure this stuff out on my own. They're really wondering like what it is that you and I did together that made this different in terms of coaching. What would you say to someone who's like on the fence watching this and they're really just going back and forth with themselves about deciding to work with me in this capacity or not?
yeah, I mean, I would just say like definitely go for it. Like the buy now pay later option was great for me, because it was like, okay, I can get the ball rolling on this thing, and it's not I mean, it's a huge investment, like time and energy wise, and financially, I guess too. But like those were like the three things that were my concern, right? And so not only is it relatively affordable for what you're getting, like it's legit because you have direct access to the person who is like gonna be coaching you, right? Like there's been times when I've reached out for like personal one-on-one coaching, or I reach out for a system that's going to help me do X, Y, and Z, and I think I'm going to be talking to the person who I saw on the ad, or the person who initially reached out to me, and then it's like a team of people who like it's like you don't really have that access. With this, it's like no, you have like you literally have like 24/7 access to the source, and it's directly tailored for you. And then like the results are like proof, like I like yeah, I mean like it's proof right there. Like it's like what I needed to make within and like have like locked in, like I was able to hit. And then not only that, but just like the relationships that you build with all the other people in the program, or all the other people that you get connected with through just knowing Ben and like working with him. And like when you put that work in, like it pays off. It pays off because then like other opportunities start to present themselves to you. So it's just like when you manifest that and you just really lock in on it, and just know like, yeah, it might be a financial investment, but because it's a financial investment, it's gonna force me, it's gonna keep me accountable, and it's gonna force me to actually do the work. And so yeah, the decision for me was pretty easy, especially once we talked on the phone for the first time. I could tell that it was like genuine, and like you really cared to see me succeed, and it wasn't just about like getting me in the program and then being like, now I'm just in here trying to figure this thing out on my own, you know. like everything that felt overwhelming to me initially, like you were able to, like I was able to talk to you about, and like you approached it with like so much like grace and patience, and so I appreciated that because it felt like you genuinely cared about my success. So that's where I would say do it.
100%. And you talked a lot just now about like, it's not you just pay and investigate in this and all of a sudden like it gets done because I did it for you. Like, no, it's actually the complete opposite. Like, tell me about the kind of work ethic or the kind of person you think it would take to come into something like this with me. And in terms of the work that they got to put in, how would they come in and win inside of something like this? Tell me what that looks like.
Yeah, you gotta just you gotta trust the process. You gotta just like take the information, process it, see how it applies to you and what you got going. And if you have questions, definitely utilize the resource, and get in touch with Ben or the people in the program. Show up to the calls. You know what I mean? Like just be present for sure. And then like just know like it's a grind because like for me I had to figure out these AI systems. I had to figure out, you know what I mean? I had things where I'm like I learned lessons. It's like it was like, okay, that didn't work. Okay, well that person ghosted me. Maybe I don't like email them. Maybe I, like there were just things that I had to figure out along the way, like bumps in the road. But like you definitely have to like be like relentless when it comes to like your pursuit of the success. So it's like I don't know. For me, it just you have to just know like it's gonna be a grind. It's gonna be a hard work. You're gonna have to wake up early. You're gonna have to stay up late, especially if you have other stuff going on. But at the same time, it's like it's all gonna pay off. And like so, if you approach it with that like kind of that like I guess like mama mentality, like I'm just gonna pursue this and figure it out along the way and enjoy the process of knowing that you're gonna have things that you got to figure out. You're gonna have, but you have to like just fall in love with that. So it's not easy, but at the same time like every day kind of just gets easier and easier and easier because once you learn the system and have it set up in the first place, then the next one just gets easier, and then the next one gets easier, and then eventually it's like you just putting in that work and you're not even realizing it. It just becomes a little more smooth. So, oh no, I guess I say all that to say like the type of person I would say that would benefit from this program is someone who is like ready to really like go all in with it and is not gonna just like test the waters. Like no, you got to be like ready to like lock in and really focus in on what it takes to go and get those clients. And then someone who's just like not as scared, not afraid to just go all in like that. Like just be ready to put the work in.
I think you hit it on the head there for sure. And to kind of finish here, what would you say to someone who is also watching this and they're in similar, not in the exact same position as you, but in similar positions where they're worried about, their time commitment, their current schedule, their current obligations, whether that's school, a job, this, that, or the other. What would you say to someone, who's really worried about if they can put the work in, to the level they want into this or not, and kind of how that's gonna, determine the results that they get?
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, like as an entrepreneur, like you're never really gonna just like be able to just like not have to work and not have to put the work in. Like it's like 100% like 24/7 constant grind, especially if you're in a position where you're trying to like grow. Like like you got to put the work in, you got to put the time, you got to put the effort in, because then once that growth starts to happen and you see the fruits of the labor, it's very rewarding, not only financially but just like emotionally, because you know how hard you work to get that. And then like you learn to love that process, and then you put that work in, and then eventually you grow it to a place where it's like, okay, now we can like not coast, but now the systems are in place, it's smooth, you don't have to put as much work in to like grind and grow it where it needs to be. Like it's low-key kind of like a temporary grind. Like it's not always going to be that way. Like it's always going to be like you're always going to have to put the work in, but like the hard work is like figuring out the systems, figuring out what does work and what doesn't work, figuring out like what to say to specific clients, figuring out what your deliverables look like. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's not only just, okay, I got to go get these clients. Okay, I got to onboard them. Okay, I got to have the strategy calls. But it's also like, okay, I got to go out and shoot. Okay, I got to bring that footage back and edit it. Okay, I got to like do these revisions. So it's like a lot of that at first. And then once you get like like 3 to 4 solid clients locked in, then you can like, and that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like, okay, now what does a month look like with these 3 to 4 clients? And it's actually like, oh wow, it's like not actually that much because the systems are in place. Everything's like good to go. Everything's running smooth. Now, if I want to grow that, I know it's gonna be another grind. But until that happens, like it's good. It was worth the work that I put into it. So just be prepared and you just know you got to do it if you want to be successful, and if you're really trying to like do this as a career and make decent money off of it and make a living off of it, just know that it's like there's really no other option. There's really no other route to take than to like be prepped to put in that work. So it's like, why would you not want to have somebody who's coaching you along the way? Why would you want to try to figure that out on your own? It's actually going to make it harder for you in the long run.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's pretty much all I have for my questions on my end. Do you have anything else that you want to mention? Are we all good?
No, I think we're good, man. Yeah, I just appreciate the time, the energy, the effort that you put into your coaching, and like it didn't even really feel like I was being coached. Felt more like
Working
like
together.
yeah, we were working to get
Yeah.
like we were coworkers, and like you know what I mean. Like it just felt
And that's
like
really how it should feel, you know?
yeah, it didn't feel like I was like the accountability was for sure there because it's like I gotta be like he's giving me a list of things to do that I gotta like go do, because it's not because he just wants to see am I gonna do the work. It's because it's like, no, this is what you need to do to get this set up. But it's like if I didn't have that, like A, I would have to figure all that stuff out on my own. B, would I even do it? Even though you know what I'm saying? Because like now it's like we're not having meetings, so it's like I don't have to like there's no pressure to do it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, and then like I paid for this program, so it's like why would I not like I'm literally paying. It's like paying to go to the gym, but then you don't go to the gym. It's like you're
Exactly.
never gonna see
Yeah.
the growth, and then you're
Yeah.
wasting your money. So
No, 100%, dude. Well, I appreciate you, James. Thanks so much for your time.
all good, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys in the next video.